Once you grasp this truth that I'm about to tell you, it'll set you free from religion. It'll set you free from parents and moms and family and governments and police, everybody. It'll set you free. And it's simply this: you are divine. God has exploded in a Crab Nebulae explosion, and he has come and manifested himself as billions of people. And you're one of you, and so am I. When I look at you, I see God. When you look at me, you see God. That's why God's name is I Am. I am God. It doesn't mean that me, God. It means I am. When you say I am God, you have to say, what is God's name? I am. What? I am God. Oh my God, then all people, Christians run around, oh, I told you they think they're God. I don't think anything on the side. No, Jesus Christ said, the scripture says you are God, and the scripture cannot be broken. So he said it.
Yeah, like I'm not third album.
Peace, family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, we're going to be discussing the solar eclipse in Aries. And there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of synchronicities being made. This is a pretty big deal. It's the American eclipse, so it's happening right here in America. I think I did name what cities it's going to be going through. But even if I didn't, I did put some down in here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But from an esoteric level, there's so much I can't really keep up, which is why I always try to make sure I am very specific about naming the themes that it rules. And so if you hear those themes, it just, expanding on that idea. I think I did one of those videos, and it was in a Jupiter degree, and it ruled bridges, and then with the water, and then we had the Baltimore Bridge come down. Um, like this stuff is so on point, it's crazy. But from an esoteric perspective, when we're talking about Aries, for me, this is about Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the 13th sign that everybody's been all really excited about. I did talk about this in another video more in depthly on my IG page. You can go down and find it because it was quite some time ago, so it's in there. But I would definitely try to find it and check it out. But from an esoteric perspective, and this is not to negate what anybody else is saying out there, I always tend to go on the belief that what other people are saying is true. There's always more than one way to see something. Um, and that's how you become multidimensional. You are multidimensional. Whether you know it or not, or you can explain it or not, or intellectually have a conversation about it or not, we are all multidimensional when it comes to spirituality. We all have things within us that can relate to as above, so below. And we're all enacting those in different ways. But because we're all so very different, we're always going to talk about them and see them from different ways. So I don't tend to follow behind the idea that one story is true. I think they're all true. But anyway, I say that to say Ophiuchus is, to me, from an esoteric perspective, it's the birth chart with the one person. You see this whenever you do esoteric astrology with the symbols of like why can't I think of any of the names? Um, wow, my brain just would like, nope, we don't want to have this conversation. um, I wish I had the post. I have, and I have posted about this stuff before, but the esoteric names for each astrology are like Libra is the scales, It's the weighing of the heart. Oh, what's another one? The dung beetle. They're more Egyptian depictions. I don't know why my brain is not working. I'll have to post it now on my IG page. I'll have to find it and repost it. But those images of astrology, there's always one person sitting in the astrology chart with the Egyptian style astrology. And then there's the charts. There's a person and then there's a chart. To me, from an esoteric perspective, this is Ophiuchus. We are Ophiuchus. Pluto and Aquarius is awakening Ophiuchus. When I spoke about as far back as the generations for Pluto and Aquarius, and I talked about um the guy who did astrology, Benjamin Banneker, who kind of was the first person to um bring astrology into the 3D. More people, whether you're having a child, birthing a child into this time, or you're just picking up on that DNA that you're connected to in this lifetime that you're meant to awaken to, whatever those themes are for you, going back to that old ancient DNA knowledge. This is what's being awakened to me with this Aries eclipse more than anything else that you hear me say on here. This is about awakening the old Egyptian DNA codes within yourself, because Aries is about the self. Aries is about knowing yourself, to the mastering yourself to the point where nothing can, um, stop you from embodying what it is you're meant to do in this lifetime, right? We're always going to have trials and tribulations. That doesn't change whether you're talking about ancient Egyptian astrology or any kind of astrology. That is your spiritual journey. That's not going to change. You're always going to have situations that come up that push you into a higher level of understanding of yourself, a higher level of understanding of your spiritual growth, a higher level of understanding of what your spiritually meant to embody into the 3D, right? This is how you create um heaven on earth, right? This idea of heaven on earth. This is, to me, what's happening. There are so many people talking about the times that this is relative to, the taking over of borders, the wars. To me, again, from an esoteric perspective, this is karma being balanced. We're talking about Aries and Libra, balancing the scales, putting things uh, karmically back into the places where they belong. I've been seeing this whole entire process as like a puzzle. Like there's just a bunch of different puzzle pieces here, and we're being forced to put those pieces together at different times over a period of time until it creates the ideal that you're meant to create here. What is your portrait that you are meant to create in this lifetime, right? And so this is going to be really strong, though, for people here in America because of the unkarmic balances here. Even with Pluto and Capricorn, I did do a video called The Great Conjunction when Pluto was, not Pluto specifically, um, the Great Conjunction when it was in Aquarius. And if you want to go back, you can go back to any video I did back in 2020, especially towards the end of the year. And all of it is going to talk about all this stuff that's happening right now. Um, this is a really, really big karmic balancing point. And of course, that comes with chaos and the breaking down of things that were built on unfaulty um, truths, lies, and unsolid ground, right? And I think what we're seeing right now is just child's play. This is nothing beyond what's going to happen 2025, 2026, and 2027 when Uranus moves into Gemini, and we'll have both Neptune and Saturn and Aries. If you think shit's crazy now, this is nothing. This is nothing. And this is not about fear mongering. These things have to come down. The veil has to be taken off so that we can unlearn and relearn. But the only way we're going to relearn is to see the truth. And a lot of what America has built is a veil. Things that look truthful, feel truthful, are relatable, but from their perspective, their storyline, right? But you have to give that stuff back to the people who it actually has come from. And so once all these things have been broken down, it allows us to see that truth so we can do the real healing, unlearning, and relearning to build anew. To me, that's it. That's the whole eclipse season. But because we're humans and we want to hear about all the astrology stuff, let's just jump right into it. And so the solar total eclipse in Aries, this is a total eclipse. There will be a bout of darkness during this eclipse because the sun will be completely eclipsed out, happening on April 8th at 19 degrees. 19 degrees is a Libra degree. How funny is that? I don't think that was by mistake. Spirit is really aligning us with making the changes that are needed to be changed for this lifetime. Um, but a Libra degree is marriage, spouse, weddings, receptions, ceremonies, wedding rings, politics, politicians, public figures, justice, righteousness, courts, judges, lawyers, trials, with all the stuff going on with P. Diddy. Now, all of a sudden, do we think that that's a mistake? And let me make myself very clear. Again, I am really, 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 really trying hard to stay out of the negativity of what's happening and really trying to see it from an esoteric perspective, because that's the safest way to do this without falling back into that cycle of lies and things of that nature. The same way they did with Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. As much as people are going to say uh, P. Diddy is who he is, and maybe he is, right? There's always two truths, four, five, six truths, okay? That's not the point. The point is there's something bigger going on here, because we know as everyday people, P. Diddy doesn't have the power for what he's doing for it to be that fucking deep. There's always somebody behind the curtain in situations like such, especially when we're talking about colored folk, right? And so I feel like even more of that is going to come down, and more truths of that are going to come out. And it could get real messy, but this is also just a continuation of the fall of Hollywood, because that's probably one of our biggest blockages when it comes to seeing the truth, because especially with all this Pisces energy, Pisces rules Hollywood, and it's always things that you can alter or manipulate, so that you don't really see the truth behind it, which is why you always have to look at from the positive perspective of Pisces, the signs, symbols, and synchronicities, read between the lines to see the truth. And that's what makes healing even more harder, and why I say everything has to come down in order for us to see the truth and do the true healing from a truthful, honest perspective. And it prolongs our healing in a way when we're stuck in a society that is not real reality or of truth or of love, unconditional love. Pisces is unconditional love, and so that's all coming to an end in my personal perspective. Um, yeah, so I want to go on and on, but I feel like I put some of these notes in here, so I'm trying to stay grounded with all this, because it's really, really exciting for me to be honest with you. But um, for the sake of the video making sense, um, I think the trials and things that we're seeing now are going to eventually lead to the breakdown of the legal system. And I'll talk more about that because Aries is um, power, leaders, um, authority figures, guns, knives, weapons, war. Aries is the god of war. I'll be talking more about that in the Jupiter and um, Uranus conjunction that we'll have at the on the 25th of April, which I did again do a video on this already in my yearly videos. It is in playlist, so you don't have to go searching too far for that. If you go in my yearly, I believe it should say 2024 um, playlist, then you can just look at the videos that I've done in there. But I will be talking more about that because Jupiter rules the sea law, the law of the sea, and spiritual law. And so I've talked about this before in other videos, breaking down um, how they kind of stole the law of the sea and brought it to the court systems, and that's how everything is run. And this was all the energy that ancient um, energy that we kind of were the tyrants, right? We were on the opposite end of this. Remember, we're not innocent in this, but when we were in power, um, we were tyrants. We raped and pillaged. We took over countries, broke borders, and started wars and things of that nature. And those were all surrounded around stories around land law of the sea. Um, I wish I can remember. Kevin talks about that the most. Maybe if I can find a link to one of his videos, I'll try to put it in the description box um, below. But essentially, those things still, even such, have to, the truth needs to be told about these things, about where it really comes from. I do think we're going to see a breakdown in the legal system overall, and a lot more stuff just pretty much falling down. Um, the 19th degree, which is a Libra degree, also rules sweets, sugars, cakes, chocolate cakes, candies, any kind of snacks, to be quite frank, or sweets. Um, Libra is also indecisive. It rules colors, painters, art, aesthetics, beauty, jewelry, beauty salons, gifts, presents, flowers, kisses, embrace, a gentle touch, diplomacy, diplomat, well raised, nice, polite, and a cute girl. That is freaking hilarious. Um, but because Venus is still in Pisces, a lot of these themes are, again, it's about breaking down the veil. So we might be more attracted to like mermaid beauty, things that are sparkly, and things that glitter, nice fuchsia pinks. Like, there's no mistake why I was attracted to this color. All the reason why I wore this color was quite intentional, family. I'm not celebrating Easter, but these are the types of things that you might be drawn to more of with these two energies being in place. Um, it could even be like I don't know why I want to call them gadgets. They are not gadgets, but like little things to put in, trinkets to put in your hair that sparkle, sparkly colors, or like watercolors, you know, things of that nature when you're mixing Pisces and Libra themes together. Um, it could be a massage, a gentle touch, or a kiss that you might long for. This is really, really, really good energy to manifest, what you want your love to feel like. And I do mean to feel like, um, because Pisces is more emotional. It's not like Venus, which is more sensual. When I say feelings, I mean spiritual, intuitively. It could be smells and things that make you feel beautiful. But we're really talking about spiritual, soul contracts, soul ties, meeting people, your soul tribe, people who make things feel safe, again, unconditional. You can be yourself. You don't have to put on a face or put on as much makeup. This could be very light, gentle makeup, like fluffy. you know, I'm not really a makeup artist, but I'm really just trying to pull themes of what this energy could feel like, but it could be in any kind of way, spiritually. Um, Things that you can't necessarily touch, but you feel it on a very soul level. Like, I've been here before. This feels familiar. I don't want this feeling to go. It's one when you have a soul tie with something, it's almost as if, like, you ever have those dreams where you feel like you're in between awakened state and a sleep state, but you can't get up. Like, it's hard to separate. It's because your soul's still off doing shit in another realm or dimension, living their whole best life. Meanwhile, you're like in the process of waking up, but they're like, no, I want to have fun, right? Or whatever the fuck it is we do in our dream state or sleep state, right? They can feel this real strong pull of not wanting to separate from something because it feels so good. It's loving, um, and supportive, like a warm embrace, a gentle touch, or a soft kiss, or like a present or a gift, at a time that you really, 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 really needed, but was unexpected, but was not expecting it. Those feelings that you get when things like that happen is what Venus and Pisces um, gives me, or the way it tastes when you bite into something sweet and like, like, oh, that was good. That hit the spot type of stuff. Yeah. I feel like I can go on and on with that, but aside from that, I do think some spiritual leaders in political places like churches, ashrams, or any kind of strong religious backgrounds and things of that nature can be attacked at this time. You could feel spiritually attacked at this time, and I would even give pause on saying spiritual attacks more so than spiritual elevation. Now, it could be both, but I really do feel like in this manifestation, we really have to be careful of what we speak. We know the tongue is the most powerful tool that you have, and what you speak comes to fruition. And so I don't want to discount that there are going to be some negative things that happen. Let's just be real. We're talking about Aries here, which is, weapons of mass destruction, just period. But I think it's even more important now to be aware of the negative, but to focus on the positive and what it is you want to manifest. So I'm really trying to take this from an esoteric perspective by making sure that I say, be mindful of how you think about negativity when it happens to you. Remember, you are a reflection of whatever it is you're attracting or bringing into your life. Whether you are aware of it or you believe in manifestation, it doesn't matter. You're still doing it. Um, you are still manifesting by the words that you speak, the actions that you take, and the things that you choose to take part in and agree to, right? And so in that way, I want you to really challenge yourself when you do, and you will have some negative shit happening to you throughout this time. Give pause, have your human reactions, whatever that is for you, okay? Experience it, live it, feel through it. Don't run from it, whatever. But once you do, I want you to come back with all this still, we have a very strong stellium of energy in Pisces. I want you to come back and sit down and be realistic now and really think about it from, well, how did I cause this? What could I have done different? What is this showing me about me? And work on changing that however you see fit, whether it is getting counseling, a mentor, following positive influencers, um, on the types of things that you are struggling with or that are coming up for you, whatever that is, and challenge yourself to look at them from a perspective of how can I change that about myself? That's going to be the best thing for anybody to do during this time. Um, and so again, Venus in Pisces is spiritual. We are in a spiritual war, just period. I'd even think that this is more so even on a deeper level about our DNA and trying to prevent us from connecting to whatever's trying to come in at this time to reconnect us with our DNA, ancient DNA and knowledge and spirit guides that are coming into you, trying to get your attention, calling for you. So doing meditation, making sure you're getting enough sleep, doing your self-care, staying grounded, taking care of yourself is going to be very important. Drinking lots of water, making sure you're taking care of your health. Because a lot of these things that can feel like spiritual attacks can actually be your spirit guides working with you saying, hey, I'm going to need you to wake up. I'm going to need you to pay attention to what's going on. I'm going to need you to get this message because you got work to do. There's a purpose for you here and now that you're meant to do in this lifetime that you are being called to do right now. And you need to pay attention, right? And so do what you have to do to ward off the sleepiness, not ward it off. Now that's let me make sure, let me take that back and make sure I'm saying it right. Feed into it. If you are tired, go to sleep. Don't fight it. Um, you know, if you don't have the energy, um, do whatever it is that you need to do to build energy. That might be a better way to say that, as opposed to ward off. You want to give in to this energy by any means necessary, unapologetically, and without permission. Be kind, ask for understanding during this time, sit, but you are being spiritually elevated, just period. I don't care, good or bad, what you got going on. This is a spiritual elevation. Okay. Um, and so Venus and Pisces, we can feel confused, disoriented, afraid, um, feel like we're losing it or going crazy, emotionally unstable, overwhelmed, feeling the emotions of everyone around us. On a personal and social level, this can be disillusionment, meaningless of values until you transcend this energy. You will not have a clear sense of who you are and will continue to experience these themes in a very negative way. And it's going to be relentless. Again, it's going because it's a soul tie, a spirit guide is trying to connect themselves with you to get acquainted with you. And so it's going to feel like a pull. Mars is energetic. um it's your actions and your movements, and so it can feel, you can literally feel like you're having a fight with yourself, like I want to do this, no I want to do this, no I want to do this, I want to do that, because Aries can be your free will. um you have free will, which is your first house, and then you have God's plan for you, which is the 10th house, which is Capricorn, which is so funny that Capricorn is relative to the devil. Capricorn is the devil. Let's just be real fucking clear on this, okay? Capricorn is the devil. Then you got Pluto in Aquarius, who's like ramping up and taking over and making people put some respect on his name. Pluto was demoted. The disrespect. Are you serious? Do you know who I am? I'm the Phoenix, bitch. Rise, right? And he's going to show everybody why people need to put respect on his name. And Aquarius is the people. He's going to give that power back to you. And Pluto's supposedly the underworld, where we see the most negative, defiled, uh, um, um, examples of people, right? It's not true. That's why I said you really have to look at this from an esoteric now a level. Now is not the time to be buying into these societal norms. Make no mistakes, things come from the ground up. They come from darkness into the light. Babies spend 9 months in darkness. You are manifesting here. You are being empowered here. So it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be chaotic. It's probably going to piss you off. You might have to fight somebody, but make no mistake, this is an elevation happening, right? To put you back into your power so that you can see what it is you're meant to do in this lifetime and step into that role. Okay, make no mistake. Okay, this is not a game. This is not a test. It's happening right now, right? And so I feel like we're gonna feel like we're pretty much losing it. And for the most part, we are. We are having a 3D level death, right? We're having an actual death to be reborn. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And so how we move and the choices and things that we do in the 3D or as far as decisions that we make free around free will are going to change drastically as all these structures fall down. We're not going to have a choice but to see things in a new way. And so a lot of spiritual connotations here. Even in the Bible, I heard somebody talking about this as relative to the time of Mesopotamia, um, of Jonah. Was it Jonah? Don't quote me on that because that's not really my strong suit, but um, there's a specific story about Mesopotamia and the fall of it and somebody being led to send a message and how they got rerouted because they didn't want to, because this was an enemy that was being asked to go to a place that he knows nobody likes him. I should probably get that story right because that's extremely important story to the Pluto and Aquarius energy. You're going to have some enemies. You're going to have people jealous of you. Show them who you are respectfully. Okay. Period. There's nothing left to say. I was watching, you guys know, I tell you guys this all the time. I think I said it in the Libra video too, with all that Pisces energy. And we was actually in Pisces season. And I was like, this, if this isn't all tarot, I don't know what the hell is. Like every single tarot story that they be like, all those uh titles they be using. I was like, we're like in tarot land. um I was watching I like Miss Hawaii. I don't know if you guys know who she is. I'm probably the only weirdo who does. I am really obsessed with tarot. Don't judge me, y'all. Okay. And I love her. I think she's amazing. She's a Scorpio. Something I was scrolling through YouTube and I seen another reader who's not as popular as her, and that's not meant to be said because it means anything in any kind of way. I'm not taking sides. I just thought with all this energy going on that it was very interesting that that specific topic had came up, that another tarot reader who happens to be a Scorpio has a problem with another tarot reader who happens to be a Scorpio. And she put her on blast because she was a little bit more authentic and in in what she was describing of her issue towards the other tarot reader. There's a purpose why I'm telling this. Bear with me as I work through this. Um, and she said something so profound that I'm a Scorpio. I know our negative traits. And she was pretty much just kind of bringing light to that, of which she thought guilt was more so of the problem of why one person was saying something to the other. Um, because she knows that she could probably do a little better. She knows that she's probably an in the closet alcoholic. Um, and I can say more and more and more about that, but this is not about that. I just found it very interesting that they were both Scorpios. And when she said that about, I know the signs of the negative traits of a Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio. Scorpio is a destructive energy that there's only one other person who can destroy a Scorpio, and that is itself. But even on a deeper level than that, when we're talking about um hell, or the underworld, all the underworld represents are the things that we do over and over again, expecting a different response. All hell is a repetitive low vibrational experiences that we continuously go through until we come rise like the phoenix, right? And I feel like for all fixed signs, that's going to be your story in some way, shape, or form. You're either going to get called out by another sign that's just like you, or another fixed sign. Y'all are getting ready to bump heads because that person is going to be the only person who can reflect to you in a higher vibration that you need to change, what you already know you need to change. But it's going to be a lot more intense. It's going to be one of those things you can't avoid anymore. Like my grandfather used to say, don't nobody do the same thing for 20 years and people don't notice. Right. And so you're the only person who thinks you're doing great, by the way, if you're in this energy. And I'm not speaking to anybody specifically, but just in general, you know what you need to fix. You know what you need to bring light to. You know what you need to change and transform. You will have a literal death. And it's probably 9 times out of 10 going to be from somebody who has the same sign as you or strong placements within your sign, where or whatever area it is that you need to change. But this is specifically for fixed signs. I think that's going to be a huge theme for you guys. Um, yeah, I can say more about that, but I think you get the picture. Um, yeah. I can go on. This stuff right here is my shit, y'all. I love talking about this stuff. Okay. And so anyways, so again with Pisces energy, for Venus, some more themes. This can be like losing things, runaway brides, shotgun weddings, cutting out relationships or cutting your relationships with sweets, um, cutting your relationship with being too passive, stop being a people pleaser, no more Mr. Nice Guy, being growing and evolving or recognize how much you've grown and evolved to be more spiritually mature, mature connections, spiritual connections, people who show action and take initiative, even getting inner and especially when Venus moves into Aries, your inner warrior is going to be activated. Doing things alone and being okay with that. Or like I said in the Libra eclipse video, making sure you add or incorporate those times when you are in a relationship because that's healthy. A lot of the times I think we've societal wise has taught us to be with somebody means to be up their ass all the time. And always intertwined in their life and make and be very clear there are some relationships out there where that works for them, that's their journey, but in in the real world and talking about these themes from a realistic perspective, you will always have your own path. Your person is always going to have their own path and make this doesn't have to be about just about romantic relationships with anybody you encounter. And then together you guys have a path. And so you have to be balanced in your relationships when it comes to the time that you spend together. Make sure you incorporate. There are times that you go on vacation and do things by yourself, and they go on vacation and do things by themselves, and you guys do things together. However you see fit to do that. It's going to be very important to build those type of um, practices within your relationship, because if you're doing anything else, it's not being built on solid ground. It's going to crumble. You're going to get tired of each other because you become each other's blockages. Now you can't see what it is you're supposed to be doing, completely ignoring spirit, by the way. This is cutting off your intuition. This is cutting off your ability to see things from your own perspective and not somebody else's. Um, it does a lot of it creates blockages in your life when you're like this and it's just you two and that's all that exists is just you two, when you have a whole entire mission and purpose that you're also supposed to be working on and cultivating, mastering. When you got Saturn and Pisces, this is something that you are meant to master. Saturn is a part of the 10th house. It rules Capricorn. And so Saturn being in Pisces is saying, hey, look, look at this from a realistic perspective. You can dream, but don't be dreamy. Don't let the dream take over. Take actual practical steps to make that dream a reality. Saturn rules the reality of things, right? And so that can be a challenge for us to change those old, outdated beliefs of being connected to others and what that should look like. That needs to change, right? So your spiritual warrior will awaken. And you might spend a lot more time with this Aries eclipse doing things by yourself just to practice until you master that energy and you're comfortable enough with it so that when you do stop bringing other people in your life, it's not like you don't feel like you have to control somebody so much where you have to be around them all the time. This is passion, dating more, not wanting a relationship, just having fun, partying, more one night stands, telling people how you feel, being independent, brave, and fierce. Okay. And because Neptune and Saturn, again, will move into Aries and Uranus will move into Gemini, this is the building blocks that's going to feel like a buildup to 2025 and 2026 and 2027. I think, like I said, if you guys think what's happening now is crazy, yeah. So you ain't seen nothing yet. And again, that's not about fear. That's about getting down to the nitty gritty of you, right? Your spiritual power, getting more closer to your spirit guides or your faith-based practices and things of that nature. And so this is the wake-up call from a long slumber, seeing things for what they are with Pisces. And the more things that are revealed, again, the more we might break down and do things we may have never thought of doing before. So if your path does change from, say, like, for example, you're a car dealer. I don't know. I'm just making it up. You've been a car dealer. You've been working on it for a while. It's something you're building up to. I don't care what level you're at in that process. If it changes, do it. Take the initiative. Don't see this as something to fight. Remember, we are multidimensional. Technically, we all have about 6 or 7 different skills within us that we should be manifesting all at once. But because we're on this 3D low level, low vibrational frequency here on Earth, we don't even see that. And we're always like focused on one thing, or it manifests into manifesting one thing and then you change and evolve over time to doing something else. But we almost never in this lifetime with this vibrational energy that we're in right now accomplish all the multiple things that we are capable of doing because our pineal is decalcified. We're not even eating the right foods. And then you have society that has a whole fucking show on 24 hours a day, distracting you from all those things. So again, the more this stuff falls, the more truths about yourself are going to rise to the surface. And so if you start to get the feeling like, I'm not really into this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, or just that it changes and evolves what you're doing. Don't be afraid of that. Don't see that as, this is why I say it's really important to make sure that we're not seeing these spiritual attacks as something negative. Go investigate, go with it, especially while we're in a Mercury retrograde. We're having a fucking Mercury retrograde during an eclipse. Like, come on. You're going to be repeating this cycle for a while. They're actually 19-year cycles. And so don't be afraid of the changes and things that are coming up for you right now. Feed into them. Um, um, what's an even better way? Because Mercury is like, what do I always say? It's like test runs, to see if something works, you know, go through that process, test it, try it on, see how it fits, see how you're feeling it, how you really like it. Does it really resonate? Don't be afraid of the test process, okay? And take it from there. Um, um, yeah, okay. We'll see a lot of these things manifest by next spring, this time next year. And then I did do a video on Mercury retrograde, but this Mercury retrograde again is playing into this eclipse. Mercury is in Aries, and so it's gonna be conjunct the eclipse. And so this is really gonna have us reflecting and revisiting things about ourselves on a mundane level. It's war, spiritual war, civil war. Remember when Jupiter was in Aries? What was that? 2021 to 2020, May of 2021 to May of 2022 before it went into um Taurus. If you can go back and look at that video, this is going to give you more information on what you're going to see. You're going to see more things around kids and violence, um, um, schools and violence. A lot happened during that time. I feel like a church got shot up. I wish I can remember, but go back to that video. A lot of those things that came up at that time will definitely be playing out during this um, eclipse. Yeah, you're going to do a lot of talking about what is right and what is wrong. We could just hear a lot of people saying this is right and this is wrong. Um, um, Fighting words, heated debates. I definitely seen the brothers doing the debates. They were bringing the debates back. I didn't watch it, so I don't know. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. But it's in the air, so go with it. Hitting below the belt, instigating car accidents, road rage, legal rights around freedom of speech, cancel culture. That's going to be a big thing. Not telling people what your plans are, what you really got going on, feeling blocked verbally, addressing where you've been holding on to the past, past pain, past regrets. That's been, again, blocking you from source, from spirit. It could very well be a relationship. I hate to say that, but you'd be surprised what you pick up on when you're around somebody 24/7, and they might not be the best for you. I think this is all going to be about relationships. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. Who do you spend a lot of time with? This could even be work, in the work environment, right? You spend 8 hours of your day at work. Is it healthy? What are you picking up from that? And I know it's not like we can just quit our jobs, and I'm not even requiring that, but I would be remiss if something strong enough didn't come up within your workplace to shake your ass up out of there so that you can find something more healthy. It's out there waiting for you. But I think this is going to be hard for us to accept logically, because it's like, practically, I got bills to pay, bitch. I ain't got time to be sitting up here worrying about what the next bitch is saying. But spirit is like, and I understand your math. Your math is math and you ain't lying. But I'm telling you, I got you. Like I got something else for you. It's not going to be easy. It's just not. But you are going to be thrusted into something different that you're probably fighting right now because it doesn't make logical sense. But we're talking about spirit here. And so we have to believe and have faith, right? So don't fight it. Just look. If it happens, it happens, right? Um, this can even be where it has kept us at odds with each other as people, as a collective, grudges that lead to health issues. What are you holding on to? That's keeping you from seeing your full potential. You finna find out. Because Mars, again, it's about it's your energy. It's like Pluto. Mars is the ancient ruler of Pluto. What what those two energies do is they bring things up from the darkness, from the gut, from deep, 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 deep within. They bring things up to the surface. So whatever you've got within inside you, biologically, it's a biological experience that can be happening that can bring up some kind of health issues. I do feel like I talked more about this in the dark side of Scorpio energy, where you could have dark spots, or Mars can bring up rashes, throat issues, ear aches, allergies in the eyes, sniffly nose, allergies, um, canker sores, tongue things, getting burned. And I don't mean burn like sexually, although that can be a thing, but like literally burning yourself. um, like it's just going to bring up things that need to be dealt with. This is a way, like the way crying is a way of releasing. This is bringing up things that need to come up and out and be released, right? And so they could be all kinds of health issues here, heartburn. Um, I said I was going to post that blog I wrote on Mars and Aries retrograde. I'm gonna have to really find the time to do that for the health piece. It might be worth looking into. These can be like muscle spasms, right? Because Mars is like your muscles, your strength. Um, yeah. So I mean, I think you get the picture though, right? We're being forced to unlearn and relearn. We can see a lot of people getting offended easily and wanting to react. Um, but ultimately, again, what this is all bringing us to, it's bringing us to acknowledge the fact that we need more doers. We need more leaders. We need more mediators. We need more innovators. There's going to be a divide here because of this. We need to work through pain. We have to, um, this is more like, recognizing what we have to do. Or it can feel like we're missing out. Um, what you have, what you do, have you missed out? Um, taking financial risks, being brave. These things are going to be favored. Fear, doubt, and insecurity it's going to constrict. If you're in fear, doubt, and insecurity, it's going to constrict. You're going to feel like you're being in a box, like you can't get out of, or you're being crushed, or again, like diminished in some kind of way. Something that's going to make you rise up if you want to survive or feel some kind of relief. That's just the energy of Mars and Pluto. Even though we're talking about Mars here, but I think on the world stage, we'll see a lack of funding for police. I was watching a video with Nuri Muhammad, and I think in other places, they've already kind of been doing this, especially Chicago, being Little Egypt. You know, they have pyramids in some places in Chicago still that people don't tell you about that. Unless you know and you've gone and you went, you would never know. They call it Little Egypt, literally. I think we're going to learn more about the fact that America might be America, but what if we are on ancient land here? But they've done such a good job at covering shit up that we don't even know this is our land. Um, I can say more about that, but um, Nuri Muhammad was talking about them wanting to defund the police and how a lot of the um, why can't I think of what their what's the religion they call them? What is Minister Farrakhan? I don't know why Muslims, a lot of them are taking the stands in the neighborhoods to become the police. They're policing the neighborhoods now. They're actually making a real big movement on it. I haven't really seen much else about it, but I found that very interesting. Again, the eclipse is going to pass through Mexico, Austin, Chicago, Dallas, Texas, Texas, Dallas, right? Dallas is in Texas, right? Austin, Texas, Dallas. You get the point. Little Rock, Arkansas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Montreal, St. John, and Newfoundland. I don't even know where Newfoundland is. I also, yeah, I did say Montreal. Yeah, Canada's going to be a big deal too. And New York, obviously. I wouldn't be the person going out to see this as much as people are like super excited about it with the total eclipses. Again, when you take this from an esoteric perspective or the ancient perspective, um, they seen this as an omen. And omens can be good or bad, but in total darkness, it's a time for prayer. What do you do when you're healing, when you're in darkness? You are praying, you are meditating, doing some yoga, retreating, resting. If you can do those things at that time instead of being out there, I feel like because this is America and we again this it has so much more negative to it than it does positive. It's not necessarily an energy I'd like to infuse myself with. Um, there's a lot of karmic balancing going on, right? And so and this is just my personal opinion, you can do whatever you want. But I just don't think that this is safe. Um, I heard them saying that they're calling school out and shit like that. When you got the news and the media and society playing into the eclipse, I'd be extremely mindful, bitches. I don't trust them motherfuckers with a 10-foot pole. Y'all already know how I feel about this country. When you got them telling you to go out, uh-uh, that's an absolute hell to the motherfucking no for me. But feel free to do as you please. So this is being more assertive, standing up for yourself, being more independent, self-aware, taking action towards your goals, not identifying as a victim, standing up and fighting for something, fighting to heal, ready to heal. Just really tired of bullshit. This is growth, new individuality, courage. Um, and again, with the temporary setbacks because it is a Mercury retrograde. But whatever this is that's coming through, what you really need to keep in the back of your mind is this is making you stronger. It's empowering you, just period. And then the Mars Saturn conjunction is going to be a big deal. I'm going to do a bigger video on that, so I might not even really talk about this, but rest assured, Mars and Saturn, hello, Mars and Saturn, this is all about reprogramming. Together, Mars and Saturn is a fucking problem. So yeah, I am gonna skip that. I talked about Pluto. Things are going to be more intense. Um, Emotions are going to be more intense, more heightened. But essentially, again, it's about taking back your power. Um, and tired of not having power in your life and fighting for that. And then, Chiron is also conjunct this. I did do a video on that, and I think I'm going to skip this part too, because I've been talking about this stuff for a really long time. Family Chiron is just the wounded healer. So we really are being forced, again, very strongly to focus on ourselves and our self healing. And it's not going to be easy. It's really not. As much as I want to just talk about this from that perspective and be super empowering, I promise you, you are going to be heavily pissed the fuck off, tested, tempted, and you're just going to have to go with it. Because whatever happens or whatever comes out of this, it is ultimately pushing you into your new reality, right? So don't be afraid. Um, do it with honor and respectfully. Make people put some respect on your name and win and be great. As usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.